Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about boost, and we're going to be talking about types of boost. We're also going to be talking about basically covering some misconceptions that I've noticed that people have. Had some comments on some videos, and I figured, hey, you know, this is what we're here for. I'm here to help you guys educate about what's going on. I learn a lot myself in making these videos for you guys. So if you guys want to subscribe and you're not already, please do so. Check out some of the videos. I'm sure you'll love it. Back here we have the Supercharged Hemi Mega Cap. That sounds kind of crazy. Well, it's because it's kind of silly. It's my little project. It's called the Battle Wagon. So if you guys go watch some of the videos we have on it, a lot of the channel is about that. So let's talk about boost. What do we have on here? We have on the Battle Wagon, we have a Torque Storm centrifugal supercharger. So that's one of basically three types of boost you can have. So first is a centrifugal supercharger. So what we have here, it's a Torque Storm. Now I'll put the picture up here. So a Torque Storm supercharger is a centrifugal supercharger, which is also the same thing as a ProCharger or a Paxton or a Vortex supercharger. These kinds of superchargers basically is sort of like a turbo, but instead of running off exhaust, it runs off of a belt, and that belt is turning with the engine. And depending on what kind of pull you have in it and what kind of ratios are in the supercharger, you have different outputs on boost. And that boost is going to ramp up as RPM comes up. So you're going to have more output out of that charger unit as RPM comes up. These kinds are really kind of easier on the bottom end of some things. We have a Hemi, so it's kind of important to be a little bit softer on the bottom end and then roll in the power up top. Another kind of supercharger is a positive displacement supercharger. So right here we have a Whipple. Take a look at that. That's a positive displacement supercharger. So the way those work is every rotation has a fixed amount of pressure or air that is pushed down below it and into the engine. So this creates nearly instantaneous boost, but as it comes up through the RPM, it doesn't really rise or anything. And in some situations, it'll actually fall off, or it may rise a little bit. It just depends on your application. So that's a positive displacement supercharger. And there's two kinds of those. Those are roots, which is a type of positive displacement supercharger, or a twin screw. But what I show you guys there, that's a Whipple. So now, that's just one of many brands, by the way. So then we have turbos. Everybody loves turbos. Turbos, what they do is basically the exhaust, it spins a turbine that has a shaft that's mounted to the compressor side, which is a lot like a centrifugal compressor side, just instead the exhaust is moving it. Advantages of a turbo: you can basically spool the thing up, and depending on what your wastegate's set at, you can have a fixed amount of boost all the way across the whole RPM range, you know, depending on how you set that up. So it can be a little more consistent, a little bit better for drag racing, a little bit more tunable, but at the end of the day, you know, it is harder on stuff. Also, the positive displacements can be pretty hard on stuff. Centrifugals are a lot more easy on things, and you don't really have any boost until you start to really get up there in the RPM. So now let's talk about what is boost. What really is boost? Boost is basically a restriction. Boost is pressure basically is getting forced in from one of these different kinds of boost, whether it be a turbo centrifugal supercharger or a positive displacement supercharger, and that boost is getting pushed down into your intake. Now, the more efficient your engine is naturally aspirated, the less boost you're going to see off of whatever you're doing. Other than a turbo, sometimes a turbo it's wastegated at a certain pressure, so it's always going to see that certain pressure. But apples to apples, output to output, you're going to see less boost. Take this for example. We're seeing about 5.5 psi in our last video. The weather cooled off a little bit. We're seeing more like 7.5. I'm thinking when it cools off, by the way, you guys, we're going to have about 8 pounds, and that could be pretty good. That's making over 50% more than NA naturally aspirated would have been. So we're probably going to be sitting somewhere around 600 horsepower. So that's going to be really good at the track. It's going to make this whole girl boogie. Now, so say this was a stock engine. Now this is full bolt-on, cammed, headers. When I say full bolt-on, we got some ported things going on in there, throttle body. I mean, just about anything you can actually bolt on to the thing has been done. A lot of things have been ported. So when I say full bolt-on, I mean, you get what I mean. I know that can be a cliche term. but that's what I mean. Full bolt on, cammed, and it's a good NA motor, doing pretty good. If it was stock and with the same pulley setup we have now, we would probably see 2 or 3 pounds more boost, but because the engine is more efficient at moving that air, we're not going to see as much boost, even though we're actually going to make more power. So guys, boost is just a number of restriction. Just because we only have 5.5 pounds in our latest video doesn't mean that it's not going to make as much power as somebody who has 10 pounds. It's all dependent on the application. There's people who are only running 6 pounds of boost, but they got a big old engine and it's pushing thousands of horsepower. So let's not get stuck on the boost number so much. We can run more boost and it will make more power if we're talking the same application. But because boost is just a number of restriction, it doesn't necessarily mean power. So don't get hung up on that too much, you guys. Boost is just the number, and we're gonna make plenty of actual numbers, which is horsepower, with this truck. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that cleared some things up. If you have any questions about boost, if you have any questions about anything else, please leave a comment. I love talking to you guys about this stuff. I love educating you guys about this stuff because I learn a lot in the process. So that's what we're here. That's what we're all about. You guys stay out there, keep building what you're building, and I want to see it. Tell me about it in the comments, please. And if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. We got some cool stuff coming, some racing.